What's up, YouTube? Day 18, monk mode. We're going all cap, no edit today. I am out here in this porch in this beautiful morning, and I got a real gem for you today that speaks a little bit to the season I'm going through and why some of the videos have been so rough lately. So as you know, last night I posted that video and I was falling asleep while I did it. Rewatching it this morning, it was rough. It was rough to watch. But I got up early this morning, partly because my roommate's alarm went off, and he's right next to me, and that meant I had to get up too. But I also wanted to take advantage of this early morning before a long work day, and then sometime a young adult group this evening. And I started working on Hamza's productivity course. I'm in his Adonis school, which is just like a self-improvement school, and I'm learning a lot through it, getting a lot of value. And I made some coffee, and I'm fasting right now, and just like really focused and dialed in for my day. I'm probably gonna get hit with like a lot of fatigue midday, but that's okay. But what I've came to memory this morning, which is really crucial, especially if you yourself are on your self-improvement journey, or you're just trying to grow in anything, or you're just experiencing change in life, is seasons of transition are really tough. While I was watching this productivity course, Hamza was explaining different productivity hacks and tips and lessons, and I'm writing it down, I'm taking notes, I'm applying it. And I'm thinking to myself, man, in an ideal world as an entrepreneur, I'd be applying these tomorrow and I would feel so much better. I'd be sleeping more, I'd be meeting all these goals and habits and stuff, eating cleaner, I'd be doing more meditation. And I'm like, I can't do that right now. I'm trying to work 2 jobs to pay bills. I'm trying to pay off some student debt. I'm trying to, transition into living on my own. There's a lot happening right now that's just not ideal. And it reminded me of a lesson I learned from Steven Furtick a couple years ago. It was actually right as I graduated from college. I was listening to one of his sermons, and he was talking about how Jesus always faced trial, temptation, and the most difficult times whenever he was experiencing seasons of transition. And I think this is really crucial to seasons of life for young men when we are moving from one layer of purpose to another. When I graduated from college, I was moving from my purpose of finishing college and that season of life to the purpose of entering the workforce and figuring out what my profession and career would look like. And during that transitional period, God had given me the wisdom, and through that lesson I learned from Steven Furtick, to recognize I needed help. I needed a mentor. So I reached out to my pastor, and I got connected with a mentor at our church. It eventually formed into a mentorship program that I've been leading the last about year or so. And that really helped. It helped me stay plugged into the church, connected with people wiser than myself, and to grow. But that wouldn't have happened if, sorry, I'm speaking louder because we got some landscaping going on out here. But that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't recognized that seasons of transition make you vulnerable. Jesus was vulnerable when he was in the garden, transitioning from going from his public ministry to taking on the mantle of the cross. He said, God, not my will, but your will be done. But he was sweating blood, he was praying, he was crying out to his Father, and it was very tricky for him, and it was a trial for him. And you look at when he transitioned from his occupation as a worker or a carpenter, right, a laborer, to his full-time ministry season, he underwent, I don't know if that's a word, but he went under the temptation and trial of being in the desert for 40 days. So we see this pattern in Jesus's life, as every time he was transitioning, even his birth, you think this came to my mind, but even his birth, he literally was transitioning into this world, and Herod was gunning for him. If you go back and read in the New Testament, essentially Jesus was born, and there was a king who was super paranoid that someone was coming for his head, so he had all the babies under 2 years old, I believe, killed in the city where Jesus was born. So an angel woke up his father, Joseph, and told him, hey, you need to get out of here right before that happened. So they fled, and Jesus was a refugee. more on that later in another video. But Jesus traveled to Egypt, and he was raised there for a little bit, and then an angel said, hey, you can come back to Israel and grow up there. Told his father that when it was safe. So Jesus like had all these transitional periods whenever he was born, whenever he was going into his ministry, and then whenever he was ultimately taking up the purpose of his life, the cross, and dying for the sins of the world. He underwent all these opportunities to turn back via temptation and difficulty. And right now in my life, I'm going through a transition. I'm transitioning to pursuing my purpose with all I have. I'm transitioning to living on my own. Obviously, I dropped my business. Obviously, I dropped out of grad school. I'm looking at like starting another business and just figuring out what that is, and it's difficult. This is not new. Jesus faced it. Men have been facing it for thousands of years. And it just gave me some perspective. Watching that video last night, I'm like half falling asleep. I'm like, man, I should be producing better content, blah, 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 yada, yada. And I'm like, hold on. Hudson, this is not how it's always gonna be. You're in transition. Things are really difficult. And for you watching this, maybe you are in transition right now and things are really difficult. Maybe you're starting on your self-improvement journey. Maybe you're way ahead of it. Maybe it's just a life season changeover and it's got you all up in a mess. Well, whatever you're feeling right now and whatever you're going through, know that that transition is temporary, first off. And second off, it provides opportunity to opt in and lean into it and really gain momentum and be propelled into your next season, or opportunity to lean out. And just like Jesus in the desert, he could have given into temptation, or he could have said, God, you know what, I'm not going to take up the cross. Yeah, this is, we'll say, of all of mankind, but you know, this is hard. No, he leaned into it, and you have the opportunity to lean in or lean out during this season of transition. So know that it's temporary. Know that you have the opportunity to lean in and lean out, and then know that if you're not in a season of transition or it hasn't come yet, know that it will come, and you can prepare for it and mentally decide when it does come that you lean into it. So that's kind of my challenge to you, my challenge to myself. Just understand that this transitional season, it always happens to everyone. You can lean into it, lean out of it. And if you're not in one right now, know that it will come, and you can consciously make the decision to prepare to lean into it when it does come. That's all I got for you today, YouTube. Peace.